So welcome everybody to another episode of the Brewmasters Club cast. Here is what you have to look forward to in tonight's episode.
So just me talking here then. You
3,
sure?
2,
Oh jeez.
and back to you, Donnie.
Do you want to give the intro? You can give the intro if you
We
want.
didn't even start yet.
I thought that
However,
was-
we're going back to him.
That's what I was leading in with. And this time on Craft Brews and Geek News, our host, Donnie. No, is that what that? You don't want that?
And 3, 2, welcome everyone. Sorry, damn it. All right, one more time.
Start with that spit take though. Start with the double rager spit
All right.
take.
I ran out of steam. I'm just out of steam at this point.
That's what dream catchers are for.
Oh, yeah.
The BFD. This is the beer for drinking.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
And-
something else.
Big
Yeah.
Big freaking deal.
Yeah, big freaking deal. Okay.
I think that's why they leave it open-ended like that. I actually had to do a little looking.
Ryan's brewing system almost killed him one time. I'm sure it can take out a Keurig.
Oh,
Yeah.
see? But how great would it be? Your Keurig can have little googly eyes on it, and it can run around with like a little chopping like masher. Like I don't know, PicoBrew XL.
Well, it's
That would be amazing. A Brita filter that turned all your beer to alcohol.
we
Wait,
have.
what?
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Well, okay. Moving on. Laos, what?
Ooh.
Oh,
I didn't say anything, man.
Okay.
I do too, like aquatic creatures and whatnot and what have you.
And if you don't, you're an asshole.
Got you on the spot, Ryan. What's your answer? You pro fish? Or
He's
you
like,
anti-water?
Boo, starfish. He was letting you tread water, Laos.
Ugh. I see what you did there.
Yeah, Ryan's just fishing other people to fail. Beyond that whale of a tale, let's move on to the next story.
that was maybe too deep in the ocean for you. I don't know.
We're going to move on.
What was the last bit, Bob?
These murder bears are surrounding you from every angle. It's really terrifying.
Crazy mother.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
Welcome, craft beer. My name is Donnie. Welcome to the official Brewmasters Club podcast here, Craft Brews and Geek News, where we talk about national stories, local flavors, and our favorite geeky nuggets of pop culture. Again, my name is Donnie, and I am joined this evening by two lovely and handsome young gentlemen. First off, Mr. Lausman, growing the beard out fierce. How are you this evening?
Doing great. Just excited to be here and in a great chipper mood.
That is good and rather unusual, but that's great to see. I'm glad to see you in a good mood. We are also joined by Mr. Ride Guy, a Brood Boy 813. Sir, how are you this evening?
Living the dream, boys. Living the dream.
All right, excellent. And a dream we shall live in the, I guess, unless hopefully it's not a nightmare. I don't know. Maybe it's. I ran out of steam. I'm just out of steam at this point.
No nightmares. Nope, we're good.
Okay, that's good.
No nightmares.
All right. Well,
That's what dream catchers are for.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not as
All right.
good as last man. Sorry.
That's okay. We all only wish we would be. We start off every episode with the popular segment we call What Are You Drinking? What Are You Going to Drink? And Ryan, if I do not stand corrected, a friend of yours or somebody actually heard on the cast a particular recommendation that Mr. Lausman made and purchased said beer for themselves. Is that correct?
That is correct. My buddy Alex actually had, oh gosh, give me one second.
Kick in the
here.
grass. It was kick in the grass.
Well, I was kicking my brain in the grass. Yes, the kick in the grass. He sent me a photo of that. That's what he was sipping on. Oh, was that a teaser, last man? From what I saw, no.
It was a commemorative can.
It was a commemorative. Oh, you had the can on your nightstand there. That's cool. But yeah, no, he sent me that and says he's really enjoying the cast and listening to us week on, week out. So
Well, that's good.
That was pretty cool.
We appreciate it, and it's funny that it was kicking the grass because I actually met with the founding members of Big Storm last week. I think it was like last Thursday. Last Friday. I had lunch with them, and I saw toured the new Pinellas Brewery, and it's quite impressive. And the plans they have for that place is awesome. So they are stepping up their relationship with the Rowdies for the Kick in the Grass, and they're stepping up in a big way for 2019 their relationship with the Lightning. So first off, yeah, go Lightning. If any bandwagon fans like myself are out there, way to go. They're in the playoffs. They're going to win the thing, or they're heading that way. So that's awesome. The Stanley Steeple or whatever it's called, the
Steamer.
Right.
Steamer.
The Stanley Steamer. Right. What is it called?
It's a really big beer mug. If you
That's right.
fill it up.
No, jokes. It is the Stanley Cup that they're heading towards, and I think if they win tonight or tomorrow, they're well on their way. So good luck for the Bucks or Bucks. The Bolts.
All right, just hit them all.
Good luck for the Bolts. Good for them, and that's a lot of fun. But boys, we came here to talk about beer and geeky and nuggets of pop culture. So first, Rye Guy, maybe yourself, start us off. What did you bring tonight for sipping on?
Well, what I did bring is something that I've been sipping on for a couple of weeks now. It's the coconut and lime ale. We talked about that on the last podcast. So
version 2, though, right? Version 2, second round.
This is I've not been drinking much of my beer just because I want to let it last longer, and I've got to prep for the Tampa Bay Brewing Company's craft beer competition. But I will tell you what I did have tonight was the Founders Pure Gold Lager. I think that's what it's called. And if you've not had that yet, you have to try it. It was absolutely fantastic. If you love craft beer, you will love that lager. But you can also introduce it to your friends that don't know what craft beer is, because they will probably segue into craft beer. It tasted like a light-bodied, I would almost say, dare I say, Miller Lite, Bud Light, or excuse me, Bud Light. That's a lager, not Miller Lite. But or even like a light-bodied Yingling, if you will. It was just fantastic. So you've got to try that. I had that at Mellow Mushroom, actually.
Yeah, very good.
Couldn't bring it home, but it was very tasty.
It's called, what is it called? The Founders what?
I thought it was Founders Pure Gold. Let me see here. Founders Gold. Excuse me. Solid Gold. I'm sorry, not pure. Solid.
Solid Gold. Okay, cool.
It was solid.
Yeah. Well, if you're out there, try the Founders Solid Gold. Lost Man, did you have anything tonight? It's also what are you going to drink in the future? It's okay. You can talk about something else.
I just have bittersweet emotions about this evening because I was very excited about something I saw and found and bought and cooled down and got all ready for this podcast. It is part of our unofficial sponsors here in Nevada.
Wow, BFD.
The BFD. This is the beer for drinking.
Oh, okay. I was thinking something else.
Big
freaking deal.
Yeah, big freaking deal. Okay.
I think that's why they leave it open-ended like that. I actually had to do a little looking, and it only says it very small on the can that it says beer for drinking. It also mentions that it's casually crushable. It is a very odd size. It is 19.2 fluid ounces.
That is an odd size.
Yes, and it is an American blonde ale coming in at 4.8% ABV. I was so excited to drink this tonight. I bought 2 of them, and I've been eyeing this thing down for a long time, and I'm on call for work. And then my phone went berserk like half hour ago, so now I don't get to do anything.
Wow, that's so. Hey, at least you tried, man. I mean, that's the thought was there, and that's the point.
So I've always got my water.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting? What the correlation between what you guys both brought are table beers. I mean, essentially, Ryan, when you're talking about Miller Lite, Bud Light, whatever, those are table beers, the everyman's beer, if you will. And you guys both had suggested craft beers for the everyman. So that's odd. I wonder if it's something with the weather or something that how hot it is outside or how nice it is outside that made you guys both grab or gravitate to table beers. And I say that, lightly. There's nothing wrong with that. Just beers that are easy to drink and available and refreshing.
And casually crushable.
It is Florida.
True.
But no, I agree. And I'm actually wanting to try that BFD from Sierra Nevada. I think that sounds actually really good.
Well, I didn't necessarily bring a big freaking deal, but I did bring the vanilla cocoa porter that I brewed myself with our good friends at the PicoBrew. So I'm excited because I had a little bit of this today actually, and then I'm gonna have a little bit more now. But Ryan, you and Ashley actually got a chance to try this. And
We did.
You guys said you both thought very highly of it, which I appreciate.
I found myself wanting more because even though you can go to different places, and find different styles of craft beer, it's an absolutely delicious beer. But the one place that I shop at most for food doesn't carry a lot of stouts or porters, so it's very limited. And I feel like I can't get what I want all the time, and that gave me exactly what I wanted. But there was only one of to get, and I was disappointed in that.
Well, I do appreciate the compliments. I had it for the first, so I had one bottle of it on the Cinco de Mayo as I was trying to just test it because it was basically that was the day I had brewed it to get ready for. And man, like I'm very impressed with it. I know, Lossman, you aren't number one a fan of heavy dark porters, but it is. It's hard to compare it to. It has the because I was talking about the vanilla aroma. So this is a vanilla cocoa porter, and basically it has the vanilla that I was looking for in terms of the aroma. The flavor necessarily isn't strong or sweet in terms of vanilla, but it is a dry finishing cocoa with a little tinge, like just a little bit of the ester has that sweet vanilla flavor. I love it. I think it's a fantastic drinking beer.
Looks bubbly.
It's delicious. It's exactly as bubbly as it should be. Ryan, was yours carbonated well, and you thought it came out okay? Everything was good. I mean, that's the first time I've ever bottled a beer with carbonation drops.
I was surprised, actually, Donnie, how good that beer. I know the vanilla was supposed to be a little bit more, but
maybe I've never had the original. This is a clone.
That's true. That's true. It could just be a very subtle hint of vanilla, just for a little extra sweetness on the back end. But I liked it, and for it to be brewed the way that it was on the Pico system, I thought it was fantastic. So yeah. I was surprised. I was actually very surprised. Now, it's funny though, because, and I guess I'm just going to bring up this point because that was a kit that you were able to get together, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So you got a kit, and the Pico system brewed it perfectly. So I wonder then, me as somebody that's putting together my own recipes, how could what do I want to ask? How perfectly could I have made that same beer on my own system? I guess is what I'm saying, because it came out perfectly. Well,
you can, and you can. That's. I don't want to turn this into a PicoBrew commercial, which actually I do have them here on the news because they've got an announcement coming out soon. But yeah, I mean, we'll go tit for tat. We're gonna do the what do we say, man versus machine, the old John Henry, I believe is what it's called. And we're gonna do. We can both buy the same ingredients, same hops, same barley, age the same, brew the same, and we'll see which beer comes out better. And we can do that for sure. So that is coming down the pipe for sure.
I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be a nice way to tell what the differences are, what the similarities are, and see not which process is better, but overall which is more efficient to get better tasting beer.
I can fast forward to the answers now. What I think is going to happen is the consistency and the limited range will be there for the Pico, but the flexibility and the creativity will be there as a traditional home brewer. But that's just my opinion.
Can I?
And well, what I was going to say, and if you guys tie, then for a sudden death round, we can turn them both into battle bots, and we can scrap on Ryan's cul-de-sac, and winner takes all.
Hey, all about that. Ryan's brewing system almost killed him one time. I'm sure it can take out a Keurig.
Oh, yeah.
See? But how great would it be? Your Keurig can have little googly eyes on it, and it can run around with like a little chopping masher. I don't know.
Boiling hot water.
I'm just saying, for sudden death, I think I am in charge of that, but you guys can be in charge of the other thing.
Well, and just real quick, I'm going to tell this short story, and not to turn this into a PicoBrew commercial, like you said, Donnie, but I was up at Brew the other day, and I met this nice lady. We were talking. I shared my beer and everything, and she told me that she herself used to brew when she was married with her ex-husband, and after they got divorced, they kept brewing and all this other stuff, and she said, well, I basically just kept brewing to be part of the club so I could meet more men, and that was kind of a funny take on the story. But then she moved, because I asked her, I said, well, why'd you stop? She goes, well, I moved to New York and I lived in a building and I couldn't brew anymore. And that's when I told her about the PicoBrew system. I said, well, you should, now that you're back in Florida, obviously you should brew. But if you'd have fast forwarded a couple of years, there's this system out that literally allows you to brew inside your home, like we talked about on the last cast. I thought that was kind of interesting, just days after we spoke about being able to brew in a high-rise system. So.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the point of it, and it's, well, we can kick it off. So moving on, and that's part of it too. We'll get back to it actually. Before we kick it off, we have, this coming, I guess it's next Saturday, but technically between now and then. So first off, that's what we had to drink. Thank you guys for paying attention to that. I want to put a little feeler out there before we move on to the actual beer news section of this, but we are doing this thing just about every 2 weeks. And I just want to know, people out there that are listening now, and please, contribute to us or let us know on the Facebook group. Is it too little, too much, not enough? Are you dying for content? I'm just not sure, because it feels like it's been ages since we did our last podcast, but really episode 66 was 2 weeks ago. So I just want to put that out there. But as we're talking about the future and timelines and such, Temple Terrace Craft Brew Fest is literally not this coming Saturday, but about 9 days from now, or 8 days from right now. So it is coming on May 19th. It is going to be from 4 to 8 p.m. About 100 plus. I think we're up to 120 plus beers, 35. I would say honestly 45, if not 50 different breweries coming right now. It's in Temple Terrace. It is the 4th year that this is happening. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And we just I will not be there. Ryan, you're going to be there on site, correct?
Yep. Me and Ashley will be there with our good friends, if you want to introduce them.
Well, everybody's our good friend there at Temple Terrace, but I think you're alluding to what our buddies from Brew. They're going to be on site there with a little spinner wheel, giving some prizes, some gift cards, some free growlers, some growler fills, some free pints. So if you want to actually win some real stuff, from our friends there locally here, support local business, come on out, man. It's a great time.
Also, Tim from Craft Life, he's going to have, he said 10 kegs. He's bringing 10 different kegs.
10 kegs. Whoa.
He wants to be known for the most kegs brought to the Temple Terrace Beer Fest. He kind of posted that. So, and then Robert from Zephyr Hills Brewery's going to also be out there serving up their delicious beer too. So,
and you were just there, right? Weren't you just at Zephyr Hills?
I am going there Saturday.
Okay, Saturday.
I don't know how many people are going to listen to this before next Tuesday, but I'm actually going to be picking up a couple of growlers to take to Brew for their new Brew Tuesday this coming week. So there'll be about 2 or 3 different types of beers that you can try at Brew if you can't make it out to Zephyr Hills Brewery and you live in the Citrus Park, Odessa area. So what
is Brew Tuesday now, just since you're plugging them?
Yeah, every Tuesday, their goal is to try, they give away 4-ounce samplers. You don't pay for them. You just go up to Brew on a Tuesday night or Tuesday afternoon. They start giving you samples from different breweries around the Bay Area, things that they can't get through distribution. They don't charge you for them. They just have a growler filled and they just give away free samples. It's like a bottle share almost. So
until it runs out?
Until it runs out. So first come, first serve. You get to try a sample of each beer. Again, they don't charge you for it. You just, as long as you're hanging out there, getting a growler, doing whatever, having fun, you get to try some of the beers around the area that aren't necessarily in distribution, maybe one-offs from companies that are, but not actually being distributed in the Bay Area. So it's kind of neat. Yeah.
Go ahead, Lawson.
Why didn't they go with Brews Day?
Oh, you should bring that up.
Ryan, you can own that one if you want to go ahead and
slide that one. I got this great idea, guys.
new Brews Day. I like that.
So again, we're talking about Brew with an overscore on the U, Florida Growler Bar. Yeah. It's located 8729 Gun Highway, Odessa, Florida 33556. Please give them a look up on the website there. It's just brewfl.com, brewfl.com. Check them out. Good friends of ours, and they will definitely be representing the Brewmasters Club and this podcast, as well as Ryan will be, and Ashley, of course, at the Temple Terrace Craft Brew Fest. Lostman, if you want to join, you are welcome to as well. Moving on, if you guys are down with that.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that was good.
I'm down.
So we've already talked a lot about the PicoBrew system. There's a brand new announcement, and fortunately, we are really close, obviously, with this company called the PicoBrew company, and we are not allowed to say a lot yet about this new system they've called the PicoU. But if you follow along on their website or basically from any of the announcements they've sent out there, there is a new device, the most affordable, the most versatile Pico yet, that basically can help you craft a variety of craft beverages. That's really all they have to say. Second to let your brewing imagination run wild. The website is u.picobrew.com to find more information about this particular unit. I think, honestly, Ryan, I looked at this calendar. There is 4 days, 11 hours, and 14 minutes left until they basically announce what this thing is. Essentially, what that means to us is that this press release that I'm holding right now, we really can't even talk about it until the embargo is lifted, which is the 15th of this month, May, at about 9 a.m. So very exciting stuff for PicoBrew. I don't even know what this means, but from that description, boys, could you have any kind of speculation as to what this new device may be?
I'm speculating here, but I'm speculating that it brews really good beer, and we've already talked a lot about it. So
I like the fact that they're following, true to its name, a peekaboo style tease there of what this could be. But I don't know. Maybe it does like a whole bunch of beer. That'd be cool. But it's bigger, like a PicoBrew XL.
Well, it's
are they gonna have a Pico U and then a Pico U XL? Because now we're just getting into cell phone territory. That's just.
I mean,
it's probably not going to be bigger. From the little blurb I just read, I believe it's going to be smaller, but I think it's going to do things, like kombucha and maybe other beverages and some beer. I don't know what it's going to be, but it sounds very exciting. And if it's cheaper, smaller, more affordable, more versatile, that's a cool thing, man. So I'm all about it. And I'm really liking the stuff that Pico's putting down. So all about it.
they just like do like a nozzle onto like a bathtub for my thing. PicoBrew XL. It's like one of those Brita filters where you like turn it and it just spits out beer. That'd be great. I don't know.
All right. So
that would be amazing. A Brita filter that turned all your beer to alcohol.
we have
What?
wait,
Yeah.
what? Well, okay. Moving on. We have one more beer story. And then we have we have three more beer stories. Holy crap. We're not going to have enough time for all this stuff. So we got to cut some of these out.
Yes, we will. No.
All right. So basically, we're gonna rapid fire this shit. First off, independents seek the seal during American Craft Beer Week. First off, May 14th through May 20th, 2018 is American Craft Beer Week. Again, this is the 13th year in a row. American Craft Beer Week, May 14th to 20th is presented by beer.com and the Brewers Association. Please check out the Brewers Association website for more details. It's basically just commemorating 6,300 small and independent brewers with events across the nation, including brewery tours, special beer releases, beer and food pairings, tap takeovers, and more. A lot more independent stuff, and including your way to participate at a brewery near you. I think, Ryan, you already did this once, did you not?
I did.
Last one, you should do it as well. Find Seek the Seal, hashtag Seek the Seal on social media, or just simply go to craftbeer.com, navigate to the news section, American Craft Beer Week, complete the form and pledge your support for Seeking the Seal, the independent seals, what they're referencing there, and you'll actually get yourself a little pin. I got it. It's going to come a week or two from Monday, so that's exciting. I might have it in time by American Craft Beer Week.
That sounds fun. I want to do that.
Do it. The link's right there. Just go to the craftbeer.com, American Craft Beer Week, find that page and simply just fill out the form so that you're going to pledge your allegiance to independent craft beer, and you get a little pin, and you walk around and everybody finds stuff, and we can unite craft beers and beer lovers can come together. A little pin. It's great. Little lapel. It's real nice.
Said also scavenger hunt enthusiasts.
Sure. And
Oh,
yes, Ryan, I'm also looking forward to getting my pin as well. It's very exciting stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's good. And of course, we always like to support small and independent craft beer. What, Laos, what?
I didn't say anything, man.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. We're rapid fire. I feel like
snipping. No.
rapid
Yeah,
fire.
little snips here.
All right, we're going fast. Come on. I want to go fast.
We're with you, Donnie.
All right, Coral Haze. So Coral Haze is a brand new beer that will stand to benefit coral conservation efforts in part by Coppertail Brewery and the Florida Aquarium. Something that's close to home here with us in Tampa. Basically, Coppertail Brewing Company and the Florida Aquarium have partnered to create Coral Haze, which debuts tomorrow, May 11th, will be served at a Tampa-based brewery until it's gone. I'm going to try and go to this party. It is from 4 to 7 at Coppertail. It is a tap launch. It is going to be very exciting, and every single pint that is sold, $1 will be donated to Florida Aquarium's conservation work. So it will be very interesting to see what happens here. Florida just happens to have the world's third largest coral reef system, which is home to 1,400 species of plants and animals, as well as 500 fish species. But scientists have said all but half has disappeared. Scary stuff. I'm all about it. I love coral reefs and marine life, so I'm in support of this.
I do too, like aquatic creatures and whatnot and what have you.
And if you don't, you're an asshole.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Got you on the spot, Ryan. What's your answer? You pro fish? Are
He's
you
like,
anti-water?
Starfish.
No, I love starfish.
Oh, okay. Well, we were worried for a second there. We thought you're going off the deep end.
I was letting you talk. I was letting you share. No.
He was letting you tread water, Los.
I see what you did there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Ryan's just fishing for other people to fail. Beyond that whale of a tale, let's move on to the next story.
Well, no, just real quick, I think it's a really neat partnership, and I hope that not only is the beer good, but I hope that everything that the money goes towards helps with the conservation of the reefs. I mean, that's an ecosystem unlike any other, and it's very important for all of our natural resources to be well kept and well taken care of. It's neat that we can inspire people through beer, but it's also neat that we can inspire people with our voice and with our touch on the planet. So, yeah.
It is very cool because people don't understand that if we lose the coral reefs and the animals that live there, then the whole ecosystem of the planet begins to be thrown off, right? We're 75% water. So we really have to take care of that stuff. And when we don't is when we start to see drastic change. So that change will come.
Finding Nemo 3.
Correct.
Actually, at that point, there won't be any Nemos to find.
That's what I'm talking about. See? We gotta stop it before that.
Dory will live because she's good wherever she goes, but yeah,
I don't follow on that one.
She doesn't necessarily need to live in a reef. She just needs to keep swimming. That's where that was going.
Speaking of continuing swimming,
that was a good one. That was maybe too deep in the ocean for you. I don't know.
We're gonna move on. We're going to move on downstream for the next article here. Miller Coors responds to Stone Brewing's Keystone Light lawsuit. Laos, I only brought this up because you would have some insight on the Stonies here with one Mr. C, Chris Rivera. If you remember Keystone Lights, Ryan, this is before your time, but we had a hell of a time with these Keystones. Back in the day,
we've had some Keystones together.
I know we have. I'm just saying this harkens back to a long time ago, but it's just interesting now because Stone Brewery is literally trying to drop the hammer on Miller Coors owned Keystone beers. You can read into it if you simply just Google the lawsuit here. It's a lot of he said, she said bull crap, but honestly, the Stones are kind of a trademark of the Keystone, and they've been around for about 10-15 years plus on Stone Brewing Company, and Stone Brewing Company is thinking that Stone is typically one of their keywords here. So all I want to say is that, I want to get your opinion, Ryan, and of course you too, Laos, but I think it's funny that they're trying to Miller Coors is trying to bury Stone Brewing Company as this mega craft beer company, which in reality, they're the 8th largest craft brewer in the United States. So there's something to be said there. But then Stone is trying to cover their liability, their assets, and say that, well, Keystone can't be, using the Stone name because that's what Stone breweries are about. So it's a pissing contest right now. Of course, I'm in the corner of Stone Brewing, but it is interesting that these two are going against each other. And there's actually a very interesting Twitter handle you can follow at Stone Greg, who is the kind of owner, executive chairman, and co-founder, Greg Koch. He's actually that's his actual Twitter handle. If you want to hear him mocking Miller Coors, it's a good channel to follow. But
coming from someone who would frequently back in the day break up a box of racks, yeah, it's interesting. Seems like in this pissing match, somebody's already broke the seal. But no, Stone Brewing, I like them. I don't know. I think it's kind of silly, the whole fighting over a name thing. But I guess I see why they're doing it. I mean, it is their name. I mean, it's commonly used by them. So I don't know. I just can't imagine anybody taking on that big of a company and not being like, we're gonna get out of this scot-free.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty big legal team involved on both sides. Maybe I don't know, but one's presumably bigger than the other. So I don't know. Best of luck to Stone Brewing.
It's kind of it's one of those ticky-tack things, and Donnie, you with your expertise in this area probably understand a little bit more about how a company will market their brand. I can say I've seen the can where it says Stone on the side, and I get why Stone Brewing is upset about it. It does seem that the Miller Coors thing with the word itself goes back a whole decade before Stone Brewery's thing actually came on to play. But when I look for Stone Brewery beer, I'm looking. God, this is gonna sound terrible. I'm looking for that little devil that's on the bottle. I don't know about you guys. Like, I know the difference.
That's right. Yeah, I know the difference too.
And so I don't know how much of a factor it plays into Stone Brewery's marketing, nor if somebody was naive enough to take a Stone beer and be like, "Oh, this is Stone," without realizing that there's no little devil on there, because they're on every single can, they're on every single bottle. So, but if they feel, if either company feels like one is messing with the other, I mean, it's their right to go at it and find out exactly who's right, who's wrong, who needs to stop doing what. But Donnie, with your take, like, do you feel like Stone Brewery is right in this manner of going after this lawsuit? Like, or what's your thoughts? Because you know more about branding than we do.
No, I'm no expert. I mean, by all means, but what it is, being the eighth. So think about the eighth. So if you're talking about craft breweries, you got Sam Adams, right? You got Yingling, who's technically a craft brewery in there. You have 4 or 5 others, and then you have Stone. And Stone is pretty large. So Stone is simply just trying to cover their ass. And I get it. But if you look at Keystone and the demographic that they're appealing to, and you look at Stone Brewery and who their demographic is, it's peas and apricots. It's totally different. It's the two demographics here for both these breweries are separate. So if I were Stone, I'd drop it and say, who cares? It doesn't really matter, because no one's going to the store and seeing a $9.95 18-pack of Keystone and seeing a $9.95 6-pack of Stone, craft brew at the same, gas station or liquor store and confusing them. That's not going to happen. I get why they're trying to protect their trademark, but in all reality, they're nowhere near the same product. So in my opinion, I mean, I wouldn't waste the time on it, but they're this far with Miller Lite. Let's, Miller Coors, that's a big dick. Let's see kind of like where that shakes out. I mean, I don't know. It could do bigger things for craft beer. They could rally a cause behind it. I don't know, but I personally don't think it's worth the fight. And to your point, I know what a Stone Brewing beer looks like, and a Keystone Light is not it.
No,
at all like it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I simply think it's a matter of who's buying the beer. Like, are you concerned that guy's going to confuse that with this? No, you're not. I wouldn't be. But it's funny because when I worked, you mentioned my experience when I worked for Budweiser. Budweiser sued a German company called Budweiser, right, with the V, and they had to change their name to Budvar. So they literally had to change the name from Budweiser to Budvar. And so now you can go to a gas station in Germany and you can find Budweiser and Budvar. It's like, that's I understand. Well,
that
right?
makes sense.
And that was 10, 15 years. Well, it was 20, 25 years ago at this point. So I mean, I get it. Because,
how old are you?
Well, I'm 32, but
Oh, that happened before you. Okay.
yeah, I'm not saying I did it. I'm saying I just
Sorry,
remember the lawsuit
misunderstood.
happening.
Okay.
No, I've been drinking beer since before you were knee tall to a ant's ass. What is it saying? I don't know.
Therein lies the misunderstanding between Budweiser and Budweiser. You got to change the name. So
that's all I have to say about it. But I it's
I mean,
I don't think
at the end of the day, too. I mean, stuff like this gets people talking about not just craft beer, but companies. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's something to that too.
Well, who says this isn't a PR play, right? Like, oh, well, we want Stone to be very distinct from Keystone, so when you Google it, you know the difference, right? Like, why wouldn't this just be like, oh, hey, Stone Brewery, yeah, it might cost us $2 million to go throw Miller Coors on the chopping block in terms of a lawsuit, but they also countersued them now, and they're in hotter water for it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
They should just make a can and put a D on the end, call it Stoned, and just be done with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys got any more beer stories, or are we moving on?
Moving on.
I got a beer story. I'm grabbing a beer. How's that?
That's a great story.
Just rubbing it in there, guys.
Well, of course, we are moving on to our next segment here, which is our Geek News segment. We talk about all things in the world that are not craft beer necessarily related, but they are still in the geeky and nugget pop culture area here. First off, Lausman, are you so excited for Star Wars story Solo, Han Solo, the Star Wars man story?
I feel like there's about 8 colons in the way you said it. Yes.
Are you really? Are you excited?
What? No, I actually am. I really actually am. I'm genuinely very stoked about it.
When did that happen? Because I wasn't always excited for it.
It happened when somebody freeze-framed I hope this isn't a spoiler about a trailer, but when somebody freeze-framed a flying train with a bunch of Chewbacca's on it, I was like, you know what? I gotta see how they got into all that.
In that same trailer, they only saw one Chewbacca. You think there's multiple Chewbaccas?
There's 2 Chewbaccas.
Well,
there's only one Chewbacca, but
right.
There's a Wookiee. I mean, it'd be a Wookiee move not to see the other one.
Right. Go ahead, Los.
Well, yeah, flying space train. That's gonna be fun. Like, I want to see all the shenanigans. And
it looks like a western. It looks like a western, and I'm very much stoked about that. Ryan, are you super stoked about Solo, a Star Wars story, Han Solo man story?
Oh yeah, that was a lot of intro there. Yeah, no, I am beyond ready for this movie. It actually looks really, really good.
It looks like a western. Rogue One looked like a war movie. It looked like Saving Private Ryan, Star Wars style. This looks like a western, Star Wars style. Am I right? I mean,
yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, but to his character traits, I mean, he is kind of a cowboy of the galaxy in a way.
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
I'm super stoked for it. So what they're shooting for is they're looking at about 160 to 170 Memorial Day, mind you, launch, which is pretty good. Second best would be that 170 line. So let's see, 153 was the Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End back in 2007. So it's not a high bar to hit. I think that they'll obviously do it. The Lost World in 1997 made about 180. So now adjusted to inflation and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see. Keep in mind that the Kingdom Skull also made 160, and that was released in 2006. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Do you guys have a higher or lower bets for 180 million? 170, I'm sorry, 170 million. If that's the baseline.
210.
210? Crazy bastard, Laos.
What was the last bid, Bob?
210.
210.
170 is what they're expecting
in the first weekend.
Friday through Monday. It is Memorial Day weekend, which means there will be a bump.
I'd go 200.
I'm saying 175. I'm saying 199. I'm sorry.
Just gonna go right under the last man.
I really think it'll be. I think it'll underperform what you guys are thinking. I think it'll overperform the 160 mark. I think it'll be 170 something, 180 tops, near 180 tops.
I'm actually
we-
glad, Donnie, that you asked this question though, because the thing that factored into my mind, because you were giving us those dates in that article and everything, we were talking about it, but everything that shows what they did on that weekend was all back in 2006, 2007, 99, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't have online pre-sales. So
No. I've
all
already
of-
bought my tickets.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so
Yeah.
all of everything they could even compute to even come close to this, there's all of those online pre-sales, but then there's all those people that are like, oh, well, I can't go, blah, blah, blah. And they'll probably not even refund it. Then there's all those people that will go and just hope that they can get a spot inside the theater to see it. So, and like you said, it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm just playing the odds. I think it's at least over 2. So, 210 is my number. That's where I'm going with it.
210. You said 200 loss?
Yes.
And I'll say I'm going to stick right at the 180. I'll say 180, 210, 200. Let's see who's closest there. Please give us your thoughts. Let us know what you think on the Facebook group. Just Craft Brews and Geek News on Facebook. Let us know. I think we're up to like 65 members now, which is crazy. We keep growing like every day. But please let us know there, and we'll see who wins. And power to you if you do. So that's all I have to say about Solo. You guys also very excited for that, though, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The very last thing I have about Solo, it really is more about Battlefront 2. So Battlefront 2 tends to have a bunch of updates come out right before a movie comes out. Last Jedi came out, they had a bunch of updates. It was awesome. It wasn't super impactful to the game. Star Wars 2, Battlefront 2 for PS4, for whatever else, all the systems, I guess. There's a Han Solo season pass. There's 2 of them, and they're free. But there's a lot coming out, and this all unlocks on May 16th. So it's about 9 days before the movie itself comes out. But just things like a Starfighter custom arcade, Jabba's Palace will now be available to play, which is going to be awesome. And then a Heroes Showdown. So basically, it's a 2v2 game mode where you can pick heroes, and then when you play as those, you can't play as them again once you beat or win or die or whatever. So it's kind of a best out of 5 situation where the first to win 3 rounds will claim victory. You got to think carefully, think strategically. Sounds like a lot of fun. The one thing with Battlefront 2 that I personally missed was the Ewok hunt. Did you guys play that? Nothing to do with Solo, but I just wanted to put it out there, the Ewok hunt. Did anybody play that?
So I've not played it, but I've watched a lot of
So have I. It's hilarious.
It's really funny. That's actually kind of scary a little bit. Like,
it's a little terrifying.
Yeah. Ryan, did you play?
I have not played that yet.
Well, it's no longer available, so none of us can play it now. It was available from April 11th to May 7th, but man, it is crazy. You are an Ewok and you run around with a spear and a rock sling, and you have to kill. So basically what happens is you kill the stormtroopers, and when you kill one, they become an Ewok. So there's just more and more Ewoks and fewer stormtroopers until you're the last stormtrooper, and they're everywhere. These murder bears are surrounding you from every angle. It's really terrifying.
It's like the old back in the day on Halo, they called it Zombie, and it was exactly that game mode. Everyone had like a sword. You couldn't pick up weapons, and you were fast, and you could jump, and kind of the opposite of an Ewok. But and then slowly but surely, it started out with one zombie and everyone was human, and then slowly it was one human and everyone's a zombie, and then it was just smear the last guy, and it got out of hand. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Just the scariest thing. And I have watched that too, and it's called A Night on Endor because it all happens at night, so it is very scary.
Why would they only have that?
Because the stormtroopers have white armor, right? So the little Ewoks are hidden in the dark, and the stormtroopers stand out like sore thumbs. Oh, it's terrifying.
But why would they only have that for a short amount of time?
They have to bring it back. Arguably, they're going to bring it back. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. So the rest of these updates sound great. And Battlefront 2 is awesome. It's a lot of fun. I really haven't played a lot of it recently. I've been on this No Man's Sky kick, of course, but I think that's really fun. So all about it.
Well, I guess I didn't drop the ball on May the 4th because I really thought they were going to drop some cool stuff, but I guess the Ewok thing was going on at that time. So, I'll give them a pass on that one.
Yeah,
but
just Google, even the picture on like the home screen of the Battlefront 2 dashboard was terrifying. It was just an Ewok, and he was really scary. So. Those murder bears can be scary. Like, they really can be. So whatever. The last little bit of news that I have is that it basically, this dropped yesterday, and it's just just saying that Nintendo has finally announced their Nintendo Switch online service, which is coming in September. So the basic, the premise of it is that NES games added functionality, backup save data, and multiplayer is basically going to be enabled for most of the games that were ever available to Nintendo until now. So imagine playing like Mario 3 2-player when you could actually talk to a person. You're in Lakeland, I'm in Tampa, and we can talk to each other in real time while we're playing the game. Like, that's cool. It's just, it brings it right back to when you're sitting in the same room with a bunch of friends sharing a controller, right? It's the same exact kind of feel to it. So I love it. The best part about it is that I thought it was going to be super expensive. 1 month, $4. It's $4 straight out. 3 months, $8. Or for 12 months. So for a whole year of this Nintendo subscription, it's $20. That's nothing. I mean, compared to an Xbox Live, who's $10 a month or whatever. I mean, I think that's pretty good. The best part is you can get a family membership, which has like 8 Nintendo accounts for $35 a year, which is awesome. So really, like, if the three of us had Switches, which we don't, we could all just kind of pool our resources and actually, have an account like that, which is awesome. So I'm all about online play. I'm all about playing old Nintendo games. Super Mario Bros. 3, Donkey Kong, Ice Climber, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros., Soccer, Super Mario Bros., Tennis, a lot more stuff. And 10 more will be announced before the end of this year. So it's very exciting. But I think that's very neat. We've been looking for that for a long time, and it's all good stuff. So, boys, I know it is late now. That is basically all I had. 2 last things before we close it out this evening. Ryan, you and I owe the good people here an Infinity Wars spoiler review. We have a lot to talk about. Lausman, if you see the movie, you're welcome to join us. I will not make you listen to spoilers. So we will talk about that another time. And then Ryan and I also have to talk about the Pico U, because that press release, we have a review built up and ready to go. However, we cannot release that until the 15th. So stay on the channel and look forward that on the 15th so we can give you guys that info about the new PicoBrew called the Pico U. Boys, thank you as always. And where can the good kids find you, Mr. Lausman?
I can be found at Mr. Lausman.
Excellent.
In Lakeland. No.
No, I mean, sometimes in Lakeland. I don't know. You never know where I am.
All over the world.
Mr. Rye Guy, where can the good people find you?
You can find me at BrewedBoy813 on Instagram, on Twitter, and you can also find us and message us questions or whatever you want at the Craft Brews and Geek News Facebook page. Getting different requests all the time to join our group and take part in awesome discussions and talk beer recipes and all the sort of geeky nuggets of pop culture that you can get your hands on. So, yeah, that's where you can find us.
Excellent. And if you boys do not have any other insights or information to relay to the good people, we will go ahead and wrap it up. As we say on the end of every podcast episode, Mr. Rye Guy, round us out.
Oh, shit. You passed it to me?
And that's it. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Adios.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!